Hello everyone, that Manga Kid here to do my series review of Ajin Demi by Gamon Sakurai. This is a vertical release, 17 volumes long, that I have been following, I believe, since volume 6 is when I bought the first 6, and then I'd been buying them as they've been coming out ever since. This is, or was, I guess, one of my favorite ongoing series. Every time a volume came out, I had it pre-ordered, and I read it immediately when it arrived. I am glad now that I'm seeing more people picking this up as the series has been coming to a close, but at the beginning I was confused and shocked that I was not hearing people talking about this because it is incredible. Now, I understand that this is not everybody's cup of tea. Our main character, Nagai, is very emotionless. He does not really make you want to root for him because he just doesn't seem to care about anyone or anything. And I can see why that would turn people off, because typically you want someone to root for. And he doesn't really make you want to root for him. So our story begins with Nagai K. He is a very studious, focused person, and he gets hit by a truck. Smeared on the street, only to come back to life underneath the vehicle. Everybody's freaking out because he's just been hit. And then all of a sudden, he just gets up. He's covered in blood, his clothing is tattered, but he is alive, and his body has regenerated. He is an Ajin, a demi-human, someone who cannot die. He didn't know this about himself until he was killed and came back to life. Ajin are seemingly like, they're not really a secret, but they're not super public knowledge, I guess, at the beginning. It's just sort of starting to be something that people are aware of, but the government seems to have been trying to keep their existence sort of secret. And so they typically, when they find out that there is an Ajin, they capture them, they put them in a testing facility, and they run a bunch of horrible human testing on them because they can't die. So they just kill them over and over and over again with different tests and, you know, all these horrible things. And so immediately Kay is like, I need to get out of here. I'm scared of this moment, but I also know that this shouldn't have happened, and now people are scared of me, and I need to get out of here before something happens to me. So he tries to, run, make a run for it, and go into hiding. He meets Sato, who is an elderly man, who is also an Ajin. Sato tries to recruit him to his kind of liberation forces. He's gathering up other Ajin to kind of join his band of what turns out to be terrorist group. But basically he just says, I think that Ajin deserve to be treated like people. I don't think we should be experimented on. I think that the world needs to know we exist. And I think that I'm the guy to do it. And I want you to join me. And Nagai, being a pretty solitary person, is kind of like, I don't really know, not so sure about this. And so begins the showdown between our main character and the allies that he gathers, sort of unwillingly, against Sato and the other Ajin alongside Sato, who are terrorizing Japan, because they can't die. And they can kill as many people as they want and do as many things as they want as a terrorist group. And really, there's nothing anybody can do about it. And so it is a very, very, very action-packed, interesting game of chess that ensues. Sato is a very intelligent person. We're not really aware of how long he has been alive. But he has clearly been in the game, per se, for a very long time of you know, this kind of cat and mouse situation with the government. And he becomes public enemy number one. And he has demands, and he will stop at nothing to have them met by the government, by the public. It is very, very fascinating. I think it is so engrossing. I personally like Kei, or Nagai, as a main character. I think that kind of character intrigues me, honestly. I understand how people find him unlikable or boring, or just, you know, they don't really care about him. I can totally understand that. For me personally, I just found his behavior intriguing. I found his relationship with his childhood friend. I found his, and the new kind of upbeat, you know, other teenage boy, Ajin, that he meets, entertaining and interesting. I liked the ending. I think that it's fitting. The whole ride is just amazing. And I watched the anime both seasons before reading this, which is why I ended up buying it in the manga, because I really, really enjoyed the anime. I loved it so much. And there are some differences. So if you've watched the anime, you should definitely read the manga. And if you've read the manga, I would highly suggest watching the anime, because there are some differences that I enjoyed both, honestly. Like, I wouldn't say one is better than the other. I've only watched 2 seasons of the anime. I don't know if there was another season made, because obviously the story wasn't finished, so they couldn't finish it like in the same way. But yeah, I would suggest consuming both, because I thoroughly enjoyed both media avenues of this. The artwork is great. The first volume is actually written by a different person. It's by Tsuina Miura. But then Gamon Sakurai takes over as the full, you know, artist and writer of the series, starting with volume 2. And so, yeah, I really, really, really... Actually, the art, now that I'm looking at volume 1, the art looks so different than it does by the end. But yeah, so there he is, getting up after being hit by the truck. He's very confused. Wow, this art looks so different. I didn't even open this volume before starting this video. But yeah, I think that there's enough background characters. I think that if you don't like Nagai, I think there's enough background characters who do have personalities that you can kind of get into it. But if you can't get past his demeanor or behavior, then I don't blame you. It's just not your thing. But honestly, the action in this series is so incredible. I think Sato is one of my favorite antagonists that I've ever read about. He is so, like, cunning and he just doesn't have anything to lose. And so he just goes for it. Whatever he wants. The way that these characters use their immortality is so creative and interesting to me. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's just like some of these battle sequences and the way that they use their immortality to win the chess match of the moment is just so cool. They do all of these things on the cover. The Ajin can kind of materialize these black figures. They don't, it's like it's not like a solid thing. They're like these like matter sort of weird things that they can use to fight and do things for them and whatnot, but it takes a lot of energy to kind of manifest them. But that's what these creatures are. But yeah, the covers are stunning. Volume 8 is one of my favorites. I just think they're so cool. And then like the hot pink of Volume 9, Volume 6, this color is really cool too. Like, it's just amazing. I love the blank Volume 17. Everything about this I really, really enjoyed. I'm so excited to read this whole thing again. Highly, highly, highly recommend Ajin. I can't recommend it enough. I love it so much, and I'm so happy to have this. I would definitely jump on it. I mean, I'm hoping that it's not, going out of print anytime soon, especially since like the last volume just came out. But, Vertical has a habit of not keeping things in print as much, though. Now that Kodansha owns Vertical, or have owned them for a while, hopefully they'll be more inclined to keep some stuff in print. But also, these are the smaller volumes. These are smaller than a regular size, like Shonen Jump volume. I love this size. This is my favorite size. I love when Vertical would do these sizes. Unfortunately, it seems like they're not releasing anything in this size anymore, but obviously they finished out this series. They've got a couple other ongoing series like Flying Witch that are still in this size, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be printing any new stuff this way, which is really unfortunate, because this is my favorite form size of manga. But yeah, super stoked to have this finished. Go read it. I don't really have much else to say, but just go read it. If you've read this, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching.